Thank you for joining us on our journey through the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Infinity Saga. Starting with Iron Man and ending with Spider-Man Far From Home, this podcast will contain spoilers for any of the films in the saga. This is your one and only spoiler warning for all of those films. Our goal is to discuss the plot of the movie we're currently watching, but it's almost impossible to talk about these great movies without bringing up what makes the others so great. Consider this your one and only spoiler warning for any of the movies in MCU's Infinity Saga. If you have any desire to see those movies, which you should, they're amazing, before hearing of the opinions of two regular Dans in their 30s and 40s, leave now and go watch them. They're great. Then come back here and listen to our take, because we have a lot of great and interesting takes. This is also your one and only adult content warning. This podcast will contain mature language and adult situations. Our goal is never to offend or alienate. We believe that there can be comedy in everything, and everything should be discussed with an open mind. So please take anything we say with a grain of salt. Thanks for listening. You do sound really good. I don't know what you did different, but you sounds great.
All right.
Wow. This is a test right now, by the way. So
you're a test.
Hey.
Whoa.
Wow.
Cheers. It was Canadian can.
He's like,
hello.
Sorry. Didn't mean to be loud. Hello there.
Hey. Hello there.
How's it going, Dan?
Hey, Dan. It's going great.
That's good.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's Wednesday. We stuck to a Wednesday this week.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
No big deal. You want to brag?
Yeah, I mean, we're on top of shit.
Right.
What are you guys doing? Just listening to a podcast? God.
Well, good call on your podcast choice.
It's true, because this is Disgusting Dance. It was a good choice. Entertainment and you, how pop culture shapes your world. Our mission statement is to keep a vague and open dialogue about how science fiction has affected pop culture as viewed through the eyes of two Dans in their 30s and 40s. No topic is too off topic. No opinion is wrong. Today, I numbered them. We're on number 16 in our Infinity Saga. I did it right this time. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which was released in 2017, directed again by James Gunn.
Way to go, James Gunn. Well, he definitely, it kept the same feel. But I gotta say, this finally brought some weight of actors like Kurt Russell.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Right. I thought about you can tell by my rugged good looks. I'm your father, Peter. Yeah, no, he's just tremendous being a natural gifted being. Naturally
arrogant, but it flows off of him in a
benevolent aura. He's down to be cool with his river lily and drive around and sing songs.
And another good Marvel recreation of a young version of an actor that's currently. Yeah. They did it first with Ant-Man, and now we're on Kurt Russell. Making a young Kurt Russell look like he was just got off the set of Overboard.
Right. Yeah. No, they did a pretty good job. Yeah. It wasn't something that they dwelled on or anything, but enough to establish him as a person who hung around with Peter's lovely mom. Yeah.
He shows her at the very beginning. First of all, we get a good song, Brandy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wonderful.
Yeah. Very interwoven with the plot, and it's actually even told to us by Ego that it's one of his favorite songs for many reasons.
Right.
But he shows us that he's got some kind of crazy plant on Earth, and he loves, he's telling Meredith Quill that he loves her. It's very sweet. Very, very sweet opening compared to the first Guardians.
Yeah. Super weird looking plants, and if anybody came across it on the planet, they would all freak out. So
if this was set down in the 70s, someone has named it, and it's sitting in a botany lab somewhere.
Well, I'm just saying, it's such a weird looking different plant that I don't know, it would set off some alarms. It doesn't even look like a normal plant. It looks like a freaky weird alien plant.
Yes. I'd be like, that plant, let's call that the red flag plant, because that doesn't belong here.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hexagon inner structure. What kind of plant has an inner structure protected by a webby outer structure?
Exactly.
That's so weird. And a glowy blue inside.
This is pretty suspect.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's weird that he expected that to go unnoticed until he found this boy. But cool.
Yeah.
And then we get back into a classic opening with another awesome song. I don't which one's playing here. Where they open up and they fight the gigantic, many tentacled mouth monster.
Welcome to the human race.
Yeah.
I
gotta look that up.
But yeah, that's so. After we get Peter's dad, Ego, we cut from him to Southern Nights by Glenn Campbell.
Yeah.
We cut to the Guardians of the Galaxy defending arbulary batteries. What? That is not what I said. Hydrolax batteries.
Yeah, you're right.
And he's like, arbulary batteries. That is not at all what I said. I love that they dialed up Drax in this, like, by quite a few notches. He's much more of a comedic relief in this movie than he was in the last one. They were all comedic relief in the last one, but they definitely lean, I feel, heavy on Drax.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's really going to ever... He's not a character that's going to have this spectacular moment of vengeance against Thanos. Obviously, he was an effort. He was a part of the effort, but his vengeance wasn't, his destiny. Like, he feels like he can't rest until he sees this done. You know what I mean? He's also like, well, I'm pretty content with just kind of making these guys laugh with my odd comments now and then. And yeah, I definitely think he's relatively impervious. Like, that's one of his superpowers.
You mentioned that last time, him being towed behind the ship when they were crashing.
It's absolutely what happens. Jumped out the back of a broken off ship to shoot down the pursuing craft, and then they're shot down and they're falling into a planet. So he survives a fall into an atmosphere being dragged down to the planet. And then once they reach the surface, he's plummeted and banged between enormous trees, and he ends up laughing about it
the whole time. The entire time.
Any normal organism's insides, if they had bones, they would be shattered into many pieces. I would imagine the body would have broken apart from whatever harness he had.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it would have ripped him in half. As soon as a regular person jumped out of the spaceship, he would have been ripped in half.
Right.
He just connected it to like his pants, I think.
It was just so excessive.
Yeah.
Just so excessive.
But sorry, go ahead.
I will say that's while this is a fantastic and good character moment having movie, I think it does lean on humor a bit, and the humor that it does lean on it's not like gold, like
not all of it. No, it's a lot of fifth grade fart joke style humor. Yeah,
exactly. Leave your young stuff like Ant-Man style. Don't give me a grown-up plot, but fifth grader humor.
I mean, some of it was funny, but yeah, like you said, a lot of it was a little bit over the top in terms of immaturity. The trash panda thing that felt a little fifth gradery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much worse. Like they're gonna have any reference to any of that. Yeah, but yeah. So in the beginning, our heroes defend a station that's controlled by a bunch of gold people that decide to tell them that they're all perfect beings, like Kryptonians, all created with a purpose. Yeah, what are they called? The Sovereign.
The Sovereign, right? Yeah, I just found it out.
As they're walking out, Rocket tells Drax, he's like, yeah, but the batteries are really easy to steal. And he's showing him his pouch full of batteries. And Drax just huge outburst of laughter as they're walking away from the people they just stole them from.
Yeah, he does not know how to be subtle.
It's just, like I said. And then the whole, like, him getting sick, thinking about her physically, that was a little fifth gradery.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy him, like, talking down to Mantis. I thought that was hilarious. Like,
maybe according to pranks on her. Like, I mean, I could see.
Well, I feel like to Drax, she is hideous, and his species is very literal. So he's gonna tell somebody he thinks is ugly that they're ugly.
His species is very literal when the plot wants it, but I mean, he's not always like that. I'm just saying it's just a matter of convenience for what is.
Yeah, it's true.
I liked it initially, like, okay, I'm looking forward to more instances, but no, even his comic character was very hodgepodge, patched and changed throughout its history. So I think in concept his character was kind of iffy. And I think that I'm just saying he makes a great supportive character. While he is, I can't see him anywhere else, but he is also, detached. Like he's always ready to sacrifice himself regardless.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's true.
Once Drax felt that Ronan was conquered, he's like, but he's not the real person who killed my
he's
my
like
family.
Thanos is the one I'm really after.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. To think of what a pretty strong guy, I mean, not Thor strong or Hulk strong, but he does have knives.
He's got
can do against Thanos.
Oh yeah, he's got knives, and if he can't get the thickness of the skin with his knives from the outside, he'll jump inside and try to get the cut through that.
Ant-Man style. He'll
jump inside you and cut you from the inside.
He is definitely determined. I mean, I will agree there.
But even his backstory was like deadpan funny, but also a little enlightening to what his past was like.
Sure. So he has a whole bunch of mourning that he carries with him always.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you're just kind of brushing off Drax because of the overall childlike
I wouldn't say this
humor.
to Dave Bautista if he was in the room, but I'm just saying, yeah, I feel that this character is, and it's not Dave Bautista's fault. I think I mean, there's lots of characters in this movie, and his character is a solid support character, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. He's the guy who's going to rush in before they ideally
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, exactly. which is fine. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. Like,
it sounds like you hate Dave Bautista. That's what I'm hearing right now.
I'm just saying, David. I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying. Rocket Raccoon. Even through 1 and 2, you hear a little bit that he's genetically engineered in the first one, and in the second one, you get a little bit more about that. There's like a side story about Rocket Raccoon, and I hear that that's going to be a larger part of Volume 3.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
but Drax never got that, and now after Volume 3, even his main whole drive is now complete. You know what I mean? Like,
Thanos is dead.
The Accuser and Thanos is gone. So I mean, I'm sure it's going to be. This is my family.
Yeah,
I'm sure. But I mean, yeah, obviously. But you have nowhere else to live, do you? So this is not like a family by their choice.
Yeah.
I
know that one of the, I think in the last Guardians, he said one of the strengths of this movie, or one of the strengths that James Gunn brought to the table is that he had all these characters to bring stories to the table and enlighten upon. Like when you do an Iron Man movie, you're just focusing on Iron Man, maybe Pepper Potts and Happy. When you're doing, when you're focusing on the one character, you just focus on the one character.
Totally.
This movie, and in the first one, you gave it that as a compliment, that James Gunn had the drive to explore each character's little defects and flaws, mesh them together, and they work out together as a team in the end. And this one, to me, it felt like it was a rehash of what they experienced in the first one. They wouldn't trust each other at first. They slowly came together as a team. But in this one, they all do it separately. I feel like James Gunn, I don't see it in a bad light, but I feel like he took Rocket and Yondu and brought them off on their own. He took Quill and the idea of his father and brought them off on their own. And then he took a jealous Gamora. She swapped sides. At first, she was trying to convince Quill to talk to Ego. Then, it's a guy. There was like a tiny little man. He could feel like a 1-inch man killed all those core. But yeah.
Well, I'm sure he'd be a lot bigger if he got closer.
yeah, it's how eyesight works, you idiot. But yeah, so I feel like it was a slight hindrance using the first movie to have them come together and ultimately defeat the bad guy. I think that set them up for a failure in this one. It's like a video game. You start out like the first game, you were a god by the end, and then the second game they start you out and they have to strip you away of all your powers. That's how this movie felt to me.
Yeah, and
he
just for the listeners, he paused it on the scene of of Kurt Russell waving at them while he's riding his ship.
Like he's got like a reins, like a little horse or something.
Yeah.
Like that would be necessary or something.
And just waving. And Rocket's like,
know.
it's a guy. He's like, what? Yeah, anyway, sorry.
What was I ultimately talking about before we got that?
I know, it's so, the part's just too distracting.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying that I think James Gunn set himself up for failure by having them ultimately come together by the end of the first movie.
Right. No, actually, yeah, I think actually that's what's, I guess, most frustrating about the sophomoric humor and how you feel that they have to go through the same struggles of the first movie of reuniting again. I think that the missed opportunity would be that they could have had a story about the Guardians of the Galaxy, potentially another mission that's interesting and exciting, but not wholly connected to the greater Stones issue.
Right.
And in it, and during that mission of their Guardians of the Galaxy, they've been doing it for an unspecified amount of time between Volume 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they are discovered by Ego, and they get sidetracked. And if a creative writer would figure out how to combine the two issues and have the heroes solve both. Yeah, I would spend the time talking more about the galaxy at large. Maybe give a hint at how maybe Captain Marvel has been an asset, because she potentially was around this time.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
That could be like backstory about the galaxy having new heroes. They're hearing stories about this place called Earth, and Peter reacting to that. That could be interesting. Just giving our expanding the MCU viewers' presence in the galaxy as a whole, I guess.
So go ahead. Sorry.
And then but rather than rehashing the getting together and working as a team again, they should be more, they have a larger task than they're used to taking. They don't have a singular goal always, you know what I mean?
I gotcha. Yeah, I could see that.
That's what I would have gone with if I was a writer.
So where you feel the first one was good because it was a departure from, you feel the first one was good because it was bringing in the Guardians to the overall universe with the Power Stone. You feel that this one should have been a departure from that, you feel like it should have stayed on that track by bringing in Okay, I gotcha. Bringing in Captain Marvel, or talking about different aspects of the. Yeah,
the team is still is together throughout, but their struggle is maybe more challenging and requires more. Maybe their team to split up and work on two goals at the same time, or something like something that is a challenge after the team decides to unite, because that's what we saw in the first movie was the formation of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
that's what I agree. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't have run into the issue where Raccoon and Peter couldn't decide who was going to pilot the ship as they were flying away from 100 drones and through a minefield.
Yeah,
all of their lives are extremely at risk.
Yeah,
there's no time. It's not a joke time. It's not a machismo time. Especially if you're a good team.
Yep.
So
no, exactly. Completely agree.
So that's what I agree with you. It feels like they took a step back.
Yeah, and I think they should have, like you said. I completely. I think we're both. I think we both like
we're
this.
Elaborating. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we both like this movie for the elaboration that it does do. But I think I'm hearing what your direction you would have taken it.
We're feeling like it's a great movie, but a little bit of a missed opportunity.
Yes, agreed, 100%. But dude, the introduction of Sylvester Stallone and the other Ravagers. Come on, is that not the perfect setup for a fucking Disney Plus show? Come on.
Total, absolutely.
Come
I dig it. And that's exactly what I'm another supporting my suggestion. There is this Ravagers subplot. That could have been their mission involving some other problem in the galaxy that the Guardians are fixing.
Some kind of like
Yondu
civil war or something.
it's something else that isn't Earth related, because the Guardians of the Galaxy aren't the Guardians of Earth. They are the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So some other issue in which they have to get the Ravagers involved, but Yondu's in their way, or Ravagers' feelings towards Yondu, however the writers can craft it. But there should be, exactly, a civil war on a planet, and the Ravagers want to help out, but Yondu isn't welcome, or some crap like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, in my opinion, Yondu's story sticks out the most to me in this movie. I don't really have as much investment in the Guardians as I do with what's going on with Yondu.
Me being a total space dork, though, I'm really interested in what the Nova Corps and the Ravager situation is like, or difference is like. I imagine the Ravagers don't really like Nova Corps. They think of them as too by the book and too law supermen, that they don't actually do good. They enforce whatever laws are put above them.
Peacekeepers.
While the Ravagers are more chaotic, and they do what they feel is right at the time.
Or vigilante.
Right. They're so I think that's a great galactic dynamic and environment.
Why do you like stars and like galaxy stuff so much? I don't really get it.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
No, you?
Yeah, well, a bit.
Star Wars?
I am a Star Wars fan through and through, and I told you this, Dan. It might be months ago, but the MCU has, I think, bumped the Star Wars saga from my top. I'd watch the MCU over the Star Wars saga because of the sequel trilogy.
Even the prequel trilogy, you love those.
I mean, I love Star Wars as a whole, for sure. I'm just saying, if I had to compare, or if I had to say, what do I like more, all of the Star Wars movies 1 through 9, or all of the Marvel movies 1 through 25, I'd value the Marvel movies. I think they're better. They pay homage to the Star Wars movies, but somehow the Star Wars, absolutely, a lot of people do, and it's because they had something going.
Yeah.
But they dropped the ball. They lost it.
Yep.
They started talking about pew 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 and cool force powers and lines. I don't know.
And
it's
characters saving characters from actual redemptions that make sense.
So hollow. It's such a hollow story. I don't understand.
Which is
what they were thinking.
Totally unlike Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Which
Not hollow, but
flawed. Yeah. I mean, I like a lot of it. I like the Rocket repairing the ship scene.
Oh, him just shooting that nano phase gun at the ship, and it's just repairing itself essentially, or just reforming.
I don't know. I imagine what that technology must mean. I mean, either it has a fuel that they have to load into the gun, or I mean, that's what I imagine. That they have to have a fuel that gun runs on, and that gun, if it has like the blueprint and understanding of what the ship is supposed to be like in entirety, and you point it at something, I'm sure that a computer in it can triangulate what part of the ship you're pointing at, where the molecules are, where they should be.
Per ship, you get a gun that repairs it because it knows like the schematics. That's how I imagined it.
In order to create that matter, you're gonna need some stuff.
Yeah.
So if it like runs on like concentrated matter, so it should be like a really heavy gun, and then it could be able to dispense that metal material, copper, whatever the ship's made out of. Copper, but I mean, whatever metals the ship's made out of.
Copper wire.
Yeah, copper wire, exactly, yeah. But it could be gold wire for all I know in the future tech of ships. But the point is like it would have to come from somewhere. So either that gun runs on pellets of heavy material, or what if that gun can like be loaded can use like local carbon nearby, if it can absorb like a tree and just turn that into all the materials you need for your ship. That could be I'm just saying, the technology that they've shown in the MCU so far is fucking mind-blowing. When they use spaceships,
the spacesuits, it's just like a
little disc.
Yeah,
they put on them,
and it becomes like a mesh
want.
hologram net that appears over you, and you're protected. Yeah.
Yeah,
with oxygen.
With oxygen, and no, it doesn't matter about temperature. I mean, I would imagine maybe if you fell into a star, you'd be a problem, but or hit by a blaster, you'd probably have a problem. But you know, you're not extremely cold. Anyway, all right, so that's amazing. But the repairing the ship, we're seeing it now. It just like looks like a spray paint gun,
Yeah.
and it just puts the ship back together
Science.
as it's supposed to be. You know, that's crazy. that's amazing if you could just build a ship by just unleashing a gallon of paint into the air. That's what they're showing. So if this technology exists, it's pretty amazing. I mean, put a lot of construction workers out of work.
Badass technology. But the reason Rocket's repairing the ship is because they were running from. So he stole the batteries in a joke.
Yeah.
For reasons he doesn't determine. And then they go after them, obviously, and shoot them down. And while they're getting shot down, that's when Ego saves them. And
Eggman.
his weird egg ship. But he shows up and tells Quill, Gamora, Drax to come with him to see his homeworld. And they decide to go with.
Yeah, and he's very pretty open throughout the whole thing, and allows them to talk to Mantis unsupervised after he was put to sleep by Mantis, which
weird.
He's a diabolical control freak that he seems to be with his end goal and outlook, which we see him just turn on a hat.
Pretty much.
I just want to point out, like, when he makes that comment about, oh, why I had to put that cancer in her head.
Yep. Is because because he knew if he had gone back there, he wouldn't have been able to take over the fucking universe. Well, then don't do it, you piece of shit.
Yeah, wait a little longer.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a stupid turn, a stupid move of I don't know. It's just so, I was intrigued by the character until that point, and then it was like, oh yeah, now he's just turning into the don't you see I'm right crazy evil person.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
a little unearned.
Yeah. I mean, if he was so sensitive at the beginning, how could he not potentially understand him in the end? I don't understand it.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's a flawed movie.
Flawed? Yeah.
Not the best. Hey, we get some good character moments. You get a heart-to-heart a few heart-to-hearts between Drax and Mantis. We get Quill basically turning on a dime after a few conversations with his quote-unquote father. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I like the Yondu storyline better, because they actually blended in. Like, he's like, he may have been your father's son, but he wasn't your daddy. And then you find out Yondu didn't keep him alive because he was good for thieving. He kept him alive because he didn't want to keep bringing children to Ego to die.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Which, I mean, he did bring a lot. There was a large
That's what I'm saying.
pile
There was
of
no wonder the Ravagers hated him. And that's there's another complaint I have. So he gets a Ravager's funeral at the end. His one deed of saving one kid and sacrificing himself to save one of the thousands he brought is enough to redeem him. I don't think so.
But I will say, out of all the emotional moments they try to have in this movie, that's the best one. I like that the most.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like you're right. He's not a great person, and he doesn't deserve. He brought thousands to their death. We don't deal in kids, as Stallone said.
But Yondu did. He's young.
I hope Stallone is in Volume 3.
I hope so too.
I really enjoy the Rocket Raccoon scene
with the various traps and different technologies that he used. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Very James Bond.
And I will say it is very like Raccoon to prepare the area with traps. But that first trap that they show, that he steps on a trigger, and then at least 8 boxes you see on trees open and shoot out needled guns with poison, and then you see that it comes from all sides from them. So there's got to be more than 8.
Yeah,
that's a tremendous amount of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you think it's unrealistic that he could set all that up, and that we don't know how much time has passed. We don't know how long the days are.
Rocket Raccoon is maybe that's his superpower. I'm just saying it is his superpower. So but he's genetically engineered to do this. So Yeah, I'll take it. I'm just saying I imagine traps to be a little bit more simple yet effective, more than extremely elaborate
For Rocket, it's not elaborate, I guess. Maybe he's like you said.
But all those boxes had to have launchers onto each one of those needles, which were like 15 needles per box.
Well, it's also the future in a fictional universe. We have no.
You're right. He can just spray paint. You're right.
Kid just pick up one of those guns and just sprays the tree, and boom, a trap appears, just like the ship repair.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I forgot about the spray paint existence technology.
His spray paint existence. Sounds like an album from Pink Floyd or something.
Yeah, right. I love how when they said, "Oh, you're away from your traps, your tricks, and your stuff," and then he just beats up two of them with his paws, and
kicks their ass.
Exactly. And not only that, but like you could tell in the whimpers and like the vocalizations that Bradley Cooper makes, he expresses that he's unleashing anger. He's unleashing his hate.
Yeah.
He's unleashing hatred of his life onto these two guys to end theirs.
Yeah. He didn't ask to be made.
Right. Over and over and over.
Yeah.
Which I hope to learn more about.
Yeah, me too.
I think I tried to look up on the internet about the raccoon.
The real rocket?
The real rocket, and I don't think I found out what I was looking for or what they're building towards. So I think it's their own thought project.
Yeah, they're probably going to mix it up. But we see our heroes finally arrive on Ego, and then we find out very quickly through a theater that he set up to show off, when I was watching this, I forgot that he had brought hundreds of, probably thousands of children here previously. Sure. So I was like, why does this guy have a theater about his life? Who's he going to show this to? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's done this 1,000 times.
He's done this 1,000 times before.
And it looked like what he said was true when he said that only Peter produced the light. Like he was so excited to actually see light emit from Peter's hands.
Yeah. Who would have thunk it? The only species to be able to handle celestial genes was a stupid Humie.
The writers on Earth, those are the ones.
Yeah, the writers on Earth. Yeah, exactly. Not the writers from Clandar 237.
Unfortunately, it was this other planet that's the spotlight of the universe is all story.
Sorry, Clandar 237, it's Earth.
Clandar 237.
So Ego, what did he do? He was a brain. Just a brain floating, and then he started to...
Yeah, that's his story, is that he was a brain floating in space, and then he started building around him and eventually became a planet. Then was able to materialize himself and started traveling as himself.
Lame.
I've heard that it's possible that when whatever the celestial that was the head of nowhere, whatever we know of the Celestials before happened, his celestial self was knocked out of existence only to exist as a mind. So he lost all of his memories and he's just a brain. So maybe it was even that nowhere guy.
I didn't think about that. That's kind of cool.
It's some catalyst of the past that fucked all the Celestials and brought upon their end led to the severed head of nowhere. And
why did he choose human? How did he know? He did. He just said. He said, He
chose a lot, but he ultimately. This is the human story. He chose a lot of species.
Oh, you're saying so? This is a tailored, kind of like that Futurama episode where the dude's trying to marry Leela. He's actually 5 different species, and he can change shape. You're saying in this case he just changes the shape to the species that...
I think so.
Because later he's telling the story with these little moving pictures or whatever you'd call these, and he's like a human dude making out with a weird alien chick. And then yeah, remember, because it'll cut like how it does with the egg. It cuts, it flashes scenes. It shows him with 2 or 3 aliens, then it flashes again. It shows him with 80 aliens when he's explaining to Quill his whole fucking reason for existing.
Yeah, that'd be interesting if he always tried to sell himself into sex with an alien as a
human. That's what I'm saying. Why did he choose that? But I would like to lean on the side of it's species specific.
If I was him, I could see myself wanting to make every image of myself seem human. I wouldn't want to show myself as I look like in any other species just to fucking confuse them. Is this just a fucking shell of your face?
Yeah.
Oh, it's better than my face.
Yeah, exactly. Yondu gets the best of Rocket, but then Nebula blows the mohawk off of Yondu, which renders him basically useless, and Taserface takes over the the Ravagers. I hated that whole bit. Not a fan of the whole Taserface and like people continually laughing at that joke and your name is Taserface. It just seemed forced.
Rocket is the one who has the fake laugh. Has definitely a fake laugh in this movie because in the last movie, Peter accuses him of having a fake laugh, and he's like, "It's real."
Yeah.
And this one, he definitely has a fake laugh. And it's also sad that they had to kill off all of like Yondu's favorite pirates.
I know the one cute one. He's like, "They killed all my friends." I was like, "Aw, dude."
that cute one you're talking about. That's Gunn's brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Aw, that's awesome. Yeah, he's so funny at the end of it. Oh yeah, right there, Sean Gunn. He plays Kraglin.
That's right.
Oh, he played Rocket on set too. Looks like.
What?
It says on set Rocket.
Oh yeah, so probably.
So he was the
like
stand-in. Yeah, he was like wearing a. Yeah.
Right.
It was just silly. So do you shoot tasers out of your face? It's metaphorical, and they're like, yeah, and then it's a name what strikes fear in the hearts of the enemies. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't feel for the plight of the mutinying Ravagers
in any way.
And when Yondu is eventually let free and he just kills them all, it's like hundreds.
Oh, yeah. The whole crew, easily. Everybody. Yeah. And he blows up the whole ship, so all his company of Ravagers are dead.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but dude, that, in terms of visual aesthetics and art direction, music. Dude, yeah, this movie is right on point. When they're, of course, it's right towards the end, but when they're walking through the Ravager thing and he's using his whistle arrow to kill everybody, all the bodies falling, and they're playing that, come a little bit closer. I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant.
It looks really cool, but I mean, it's really sad.
Yeah. He's basically, he's killing all his people. That's what I'm saying. Like, how does he get redemption at the end? Why do we cry over Yondu at the end?
I don't know, but I do. I don't know, like the fireworks. I don't know.
I think it's just Michael Rooker. It's got to be just Michael Rooker. But yeah, okay. So to get us back up to speed with the plot, we get to a point on the planet where ideas are starting to shift. Quill was at first hesitant. Gamora was pushing Peter towards his father. Then they play catch with energy. Peter finds out he's half a Celestial. That whole scene I thought was really stupid. The whole father-son catch thing. I don't know. It just seemed
I mean, obviously we're trying to cement the daddy issues.
Yeah, metaphorical at best.
It's metaphorical.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Peter. Throw me the energy. He throws it, and then he shapes it a little better and throws it back to him. I don't know. I
mean, that's what I'm saying. He's like, hey, I really want to be a dad. He understands. It seems like even if he's a Celestial and he understands Peter's motives and understandings and an emotional state, why would he just walk into that landmine of, I killed cancer in your mouth?
Exactly.
Head.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would if he's playing the whole deceitful thing, you're thinking like an ephemeral, like someone who's going to die. You're not. You're immortal.
Yeah.
It's weak writing. Sorry. Boom.
He said it. It's out there. I'm not editing that out.
But I'll say this for James Gunn, though. Didn't he get fired after this and then brought back because the
whole cast found, I heard.
Yeah, the Twitter outrage wasn't as large as they imagined it was, and the whole cast is like, you guys got it wrong. And he's back on for 3. So I mean, I imagine there's probably some discord or something, or I don't know. 2, while fun, is less than 1.
That was a good rhyme. I like that. 2, while fun, is less fun than 1. Yep. We get some Mantis, being a empath. We get a little insight on how Drax feels about his family, and when you skip forward, we get a really funny scene with Yondu and Rocket after being captured and forced to watch Yondu's cohorts be killed. We see a baby Groot doesn't understand fucking anything.
Right, bringing everything but what they're looking for.
Including a human toe.
Yeah, where did you get that? You know what? I'm not even gonna ask.
He's like, well, unless you got a refrigerator full of human toes, I suggest that we never discuss this again.
Yeah, right. And he finally gets the super awesome mohawk
From the comics,
which,
right?
exactly, yeah. In the comics, he had. Well, I don't particularly remember him having an arrow like this, and it being attached to his mohawk. I just think he was a blue alien with a red mohawk, and that was just a feature of the alien species.
Yeah.
But
This is
James Gunn's modification of the story
Yeah.
to this is awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, it was really cool that they were like, "Oh, well, it's a prototype fin. It's in a drawer next to the bunk."
This you're right. This scene
That
is so
right
crazy.
there, that scene specifically, I was like, I feel like that's a comic book. Like, I feel like that's right out of a comic book. There's a couple of scenes in this movie where they slow down the action. I'm like, that has to be a frame from an open, 2-page left picture, right picture kind of comic book.
Yeah, totally.
I remember the scene specifically, but it was, yeah, visually this movie is stunning.
You're stunning.
Oh, well, thank you. But yeah, Teresa pointed out it's really sad that Gamora and Peter had all this chemistry, and then Endgame happens, and all that's fucking out the window. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, if we do get to see how Peter. Oh man, I wonder if it's gotta. Oh my gosh.
I know. I know. I'm ready.
Yeah, right.
My body is
MCU
ready
to pick it back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's really going to be interesting to see how.
Yeah, how are they going to repair
Peter
that?
is going to have spend another long time re-breaking down Gamora.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. First thing she does is kick him in the nuts when she's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
At first you missed, but then you got both.
We get an angry.
And then,
that shit was so cool. So she basically teams up with the Ravagers for all of 5 minutes, Nebula.
Yeah.
And then barters herself a ship and 10% of their cut and flies immediately to Ego to try and kill her sister, which doesn't go so well. And that is another little appreciation I have for this movie is the they never explained their sisterhood in the first movie. You just kind of feel like Nebula is just the downtrodden sister, and Gamora was the favorite, and that's pretty much it. And this one, you realize she actually cared for her a little bit, and she wanted to be more than just a competitor.
Yeah, under the influence of Thanos, the abuser, they were not able to bond. But when they're outside of his direct influence, then bonding can happen. And yeah, that's the backstory is that Thanos would have them fight each other often. Every time Nebula failed, he would replace a body part.
Yeah.
In order to make her better, and Gamora never lost.
Nope. She even says he tore my eye from its socket. He ripped my brain from its skull. So who knows how much of her is
her.
Yeah. I'd assume just the brain.
When her body gets crumbled and then then she re-puts it back together through jerky motions.
Yeah.
That's so well done and so crazy to see.
And her acting through it, the screams and stuff, it's all appropriate.
Yeah. Oof. Her name's Karen Gillian, I believe.
Yeah, she's a really great actor. You passed her.
Totally.
There she is.
She's in Doctor Who.
Yep. That's where Teresa knows her from. Things quickly change. Mantis decides that it's probably better for everyone if she tells the Guardians of the Galaxy that Ego is an evil guardian or galaxy-seeking monster.
Yeah, should have mentioned this, but she's very scary.
Yeah. Then we see Quill.
Cannot handle taking.
What are you doing? I'm imagining being with you physically. And Stanley cameo number.
Boom.
Yep, Stanley cameo number 16. He's the Watcher, describing. I think he was talking about Civil War, if I remember correctly. I think he mentioned something about Spider-Man.
This is the package for Tony Stank. Sorry.
Yeah, from Civil War. Yeah, I'm never letting that go. Table for two.
Yeah.
By the toilet. Yes, thank you. Rhodey giving him shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, I love the. I made a note about that just because I thought it was funny. But he said, "You can't do more than 50 jumps in a single cycle, boy." He's like, "Yeah, I know that." He's like, "Well, you just made us do 700." And so for basically like 15 minutes of the movie, these guys are flying through like every conceivable universe or planet.
It looks like their heads are all bubbling out.
Yeah. And I love when they're done, when they come out of it, they show like Yondu and them like falling to the ground, like all exasperated. And then they just go to Groot, who's just sitting still, and then he doesn't emote and or look to the left or fall over. He just throws up and lets it fall all over himself.
As a very kid, parents will recognize kids do that sometimes.
Exactly.
Ego shows Quill eternity, which I hope comes into play later on. His whole iris and eyeball becomes
Looks really cool.
Yeah, starry and it's filled with stars.
My God, it's full of stars.
That is his eyeballs is in reference to whenever the character Eternity was depicted in the comics. He was a outline of a man, but inside of it, the outline was just a whole bunch of stars and galaxies.
Just nothing. Yeah, it was like endless space. I remember that. I've seen those drawings. You said earlier he drops the mine or walks through the minefield of telling Peter that he put cancer in his mother, which immediately, which I thought was really cool. He was totally jiving on the oh yes, like the eternity. I see it. It's beautiful. He's totally jiving on it. Then he says, I really hated to put that tumor in your mother's brain. And you see all that fucking eternity just fade away, and he just, I'm human again. What?
Yeah,
and then he, not
absolutely.
like, no second thought. Just as he's still talking, Quill just pulls out his guns.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm like, yeah. So that's why I felt like, as much as I hated him doing it in Infinity War, it was very much in line with Peter Quill to start punching Thanos out of anger for sacrificing Gamora.
Yeah.
Very, very in line with a distraught, emotional human.
Yeah.
I know that sounds bad. Boom, 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 boom. And the effects were really cool. And they got David Hasselhoff to be in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Finally,
cool.
we were all wanting it.
Wanting it forever.
Can't handle the Hoff.
Nope. So awesome. They brought him in for maybe 8 words.
Yeah. All right, get out of here, David.
Bye, David. All right, that's a movie wrap for David Hasselhoff.
Rap for the Hoff?
He's got to make more. He's got to make more music videos in Germany.
Yeah. Right.
Have you seen any of his music videos?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm familiar.
It's good stuff.
He's so good. So good.
Yeah. So then we get very similarly to Guardians 1, we get the team coming together.
Right. We all gotta pull our shit together so that we can kill this planet.
Literally, a planet. I love he mentions it to Rocket later. He's like, all right, we're going to go kill this planet. And Rocket's like, yeah. Wait, what?
So after all that sentimentality build up, he's crushed and shocked that this dude can't handle the I killed your mother. And so he shoves a light beam through his chest and then takes the artifact of sentiment towards his mother and just crushes it in his hand in front of him. Just crushes it.
Yeah. Well, if the audience didn't have a reason to want to kill me now.
Yeah, right. Just a whole 180 for sure.
Yeah. So he powers up using Quill, and he says, what does he say? He's like, well, you didn't want to spend time being my son? Well, enjoy the next 1,000 years being a battery.
Right.
Well, at the beginning of the movie, he's touting that he wants to rule with Peter. It's clear he doesn't need to. He just needs the reserve power, I guess. Not.
Yeah, which actually is an interesting thought because it kind of makes me kind of think that like maybe some of those kids of his past could use the light, but also didn't just jump on board with his killing the mom mentality, and also spent 1,000 years being a battery for him.
Yeah.
He knows that his offspring are generally about 1,000 years of a battery life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's pretty cold.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or yeah, exactly. He, brings them there under the pretense that he'll be a god with them, and then just uses them as a fucking double A.
If they're not a whole heart into his crazy plan, then they empower him for the next 1,000 years to plant more seeds or some shit.
Fuck you, Kurt Russell.
God damn it, Kurt Russell, I used to like you.
I know. God, I loved you in Overboard. You met your wife there.
Yeah, man.
God.
I'm crying. You're not crying. I'm crying. Wait a minute, that's backwards.
Yeah, I'm crying. Wait.
The planet then turns into light tentacles
and
is an adversary for Buddy, who's close to the planet.
Oh, yeah.
And I love how the spaceship that Yondu is flying has a literal steering wheel.
It reminds me of like a barge ship. Like
sure.
Yeah, it's got like a bus or a barge, like big old wheel like you'd see in a fucking school bus.
They formerly destroyed Kurt Russell, reforms into like a ghost-like entity as it's slowly regenerating its flesh, and they fly through it again, disembodying him once more. Yondu and Quill fly in to try to assist further. Rocket turns on the super laser guns along the outside railings of their Yondu and Quill's ship, which super cool effect. Absolutely cool to look at, but isn't that a weapon that all of us should have? That's a classic Quill line. It just shows more to Rocket's engineering. He's fucking powering up everyone's weapons from even across the battlefield as he's flying his own ship.
Rocket's the best.
Man full of weapons. Neville here. They make the most vicious weapons in all the galaxy. I would very much like to go there.
Yeah, Nevedalir, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good line coming from him. I think especially from the first movie, he's like, I know, blow up moons. We're not blowing up moons. You take all the fun out of everything.
Yeah. The rabbit is obviously the wisest amongst you.
Yeah.
I like the hyperspace travel that they imply is possible.
Oh, the hexagonal like window that kind of opens, and they
yeah
they use it in Thor Ragnarok a lot too.
Yeah. It's crazy to imagine that it would work like that, and it would look like that, and it's just a cool thought, and I like it.
Makes me love the sci-fi in this movie.
Absolutely. I like it. I mean, the spray existence gun, the hexagon, hyperspace travel, but like it's distant relative. Like to go a far distance, you need to jump 50 times.
Yeah.
It gets my brain a thinking.
And it feels lived in. Like they all know the rules. They all know what's the deal. I love Yondu's ship. It feels like a piece of shit on the inside, but on the outside, it doesn't look like a piece of shit, but it doesn't look like the most sophisticated. It looks like a mechanical ship. I don't know. I mean, the aesthetics.
I feel that when they look down at the stick of their ships, whoever's driving whatever ship, their bodies lean into it. It feels like they know it. They know it well, and they are hoping that that she responds the way that they mean to. Yeah, I'm just saying, like you said, it feels lived in.
Yeah,
it feels like they're actually controlling the device rather than like often on Star Trek. They're just flipping switches and pressing buttons. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah,
it just seems like I'm just pressing buttons.
Or in Star Wars, pulling the lever down to go fast instead of pushing it forward.
Right.
But hey, Lucas just told him, I don't know, you're the pilot, you figure it out.
You figure it out. Yeah.
Telling a carpenter to figure out how to fly a spaceship in a movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did make a note about the cool mining pod that they took from Yondu's ship to drill a hole in the protective layer around
the thing that had many laser beams.
Oh yeah, the little laser balls that have the tracks on the ship. It just felt like it feels like a blend of super futuristic and a modern idea. Like the tracks, for instance.
Yeah.
They're covering in the ship, and if you want to shoot a big laser in front of you to mine something thick, you put all of them up there. If you want I don't know. It just seemed like somebody put some thought into the way that ship was designed just for this movie.
Yeah. I do appreciate that when I see it, for sure. No, it was a very cool scene, very cool. It reminds me of Iron Man's, you can one-time use laser beam things that can cut through anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Rhodes is like, why don't you lead with that next time?
Right?
Like, coming up to this point, just in the Marvel universe overall, like the movie didn't feel out of place. Not that the first Guardians felt out of place, but as ridiculous and as much as we have to complain about it, it doesn't seem like it doesn't fit. You know what I mean?
It doesn't not fit. It is an exciting and entertaining movie. The music and the setting and everything's very full. But I think the sophomoric humor, the simpler plot choice, it makes it closer to filler more than a fun movie.
Yeah.
And more than a full movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, we learned that Peter's a Celestial. I don't think characters like Mantis need to have some conclusion. Her story is unfortunately pretty flat because
she's just a pet, basically.
Yeah. They rescued her from Ego, and she's happy to be not a slave, I guess. That's she's happy where she's at. But like Drax, does he see his family or something like that, or is he able to be relieved of this endless immortality and drive? Because that was actually an aspect of Drax in the comics, was that while his soul was one that had, I think, suffered because of Thanos' death, it was some other entity that said, okay, you random person, I think it was a human, I'm going to make you Drax the Destroyer and embody you with some cool powers, and you're to destroy...
Let's see what you can do, basically.
Right. So... potentially being cursed with immortality and the goal of killing Thanos until forever. And now that that's done, he could not be the blue-skinned, ever-driven, unkillable Drax. You know what I mean? And he could die and maybe see his family in the afterlife and be happy and calm. Like, we all know that that's what his character development is that he's sad that his family had to die after Thanos, and he was seeking revenge. So, yeah. I don't know. That's my thought.
Yeah. I hear
but
you.
This MCU isn't all about the Guardians of the Galaxy.
No,
but,
it's, and,
so.
Like we mentioned earlier, it was cool to have a departure from the regular Marvel meal, but this one didn't feel as earned as the first one to be a fully fleshed out departure. So yeah, I totally agree. They should have made more hints towards the overlying galaxy, especially because I think the next movie is Thor Ragnarok, which really starts to bring things from out there back to Earth. Yeah,
Gunn did a lot of work in... Like, I still hear that the internet hasn't found all of the Easter eggs that he's put in the movie. I know that, like, after the movie shows a frame of a planet, it'll say the name of the planet, and then below it have what looks like a random series of letters and numbers. But internet-savvy folks have decoded several of those, and they actually like say stuff like, I don't know, they say something about like Peter's mom. I think they say small hints, but we haven't figured out every one of them. We say we, like I'm included. They haven't figured out every one of them.
Group. It's your you guys are the ones doing
it. So obviously he put a lot of thought and work into these subtle things. I wish he would have put a little bit more work into worthy character dialogue.
Yeah. Instead of my nipples.
Right.
Which was pretty funny.
I guess.
I just think it's funny because it's a callback to previously when he says why he doesn't wear shirts, because he has sensitive nipples. And then Rocket makes fun of him in the beginning of the movie. Oh, my nipples are sensitive. And then the first thing that gets put on him in both movies... First thing Drax yells is, My nipples.
Yeah.
Takes off. I don't know. That's good. That to me, that's good. That's good comedy.
Maybe that's his Achilles heel. Is his nipple? Drags his nipple.
Drags his nipples. Just pierce him, and he becomes like a.
Yeah, if you pierce him to the chart through his nipple, he's dead. Yeah, through his sternum, he's fine.
Oh, it's like it's like holding a cat by its neck. You know, they just turn off. If you pierce Trax's nipple.
His nipple, he's done.
He's just He just have him.
Yeah.
He can't do anything.
Yeah. He'll do anything you tell him to.
We basically have a Matrix Neo versus Mr. Smith
Professor Smith
fight. Professor Smith.
Agent Smith. Agent Smith. You said Mr., which is equally wrong.
It's funny to hear Professor Smith. But yeah, so they do their Dragon Ball Z fight inside Ego.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the
world blobs are growing.
Yeah, on every possible planet we've never heard of, including Earth.
And not even lightly destroying everything. Like very much destroying.
Now this is an Avengers level threat.
Yeah, you just saw like buildings being thrown asunder through American cities. I mean, that probably messed up lots of folks, and it wasn't undone. It was stopped and then it receded, but all that damage is still there. Just saying.
Yeah, and how do they get rid of it afterwards? Does it just disappear? I guess, right?
I guess. Yeah, hope. Kind of unexplained.
Yeah. What brings Quill to be able to utilize his powers in the form of a Dragon Ball Z fight is several.
You should have smashed my Walkman.
Basically. And several scenes we never got to see of like Yondu teaching him how to shoot and his mom and a bunch of stuff that made him realize how much of a human he is. And you squished my Walkman.
Right.
So
smashes him through, continue the Dragon Ball Z thing. Giant rock hand to improve smashing ability.
The Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Is where I was like...
Right.
Just like major disappointment.
Right, did you have to include that?
Was that necessary?
I'm gonna turn into some weird shit.
That was funny. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But
it would be great if we saw like him being smashed by boobs instead of Pac-Man.
I mean, that's going way 5th grade in my opinion. But
right, well, I mean that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Peter Quill's mind is at.
Yeah, that's true. But
and it would have been funnier than Pac-Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
To see.
It just felt stupid. Yeah.
That would be some weird shit. Pac-Man's some light weird shit.
But yeah.
The whole press the second button. Why did he include?
That's what. Me and Teresa the whole time were like, as funny as this is.
Why make two
Rocket?
buttons?
Explaining it to Groot. Yeah. Why make 2 buttons?
Remove the button entirely.
Yep. Just put tape over it. It's not even there.
Well, the tape theory that they implored and put in a joke.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's what they expanded on. Is tape's a good idea, but no, just not including the button. How about that?
Yeah, that scene felt stretched
Don't
out too.
install it.
Quill flying around to each of them asking for tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the end battle with Ego is in itself kind of a joke, and
you can tell we're definitely disappointed in this movie.
It's a missed opportunity. Like I said, I enjoyed it when I saw it, but on rewatchings, it's much less than the first movie, and it makes me feel worse for liking the first movie because of the abundance of the fart jokes. Like that's not what the first movie's all about. It had maybe 1 or 2, maybe I don't know, but it wasn't so fucking heavy with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I digress. I just want to say I do like the movie. I did enjoy it. There are moments, and I will say, I cry when the Yondu is getting the fireworks at the end.
Yeah.
I think the Yondu getting the fireworks at the end, why that culminates is probably because of the speech at the end, where Peter is. I think that might have propped it up to where I was digging what they were saying, and then when it led into the Yondu getting the fireworks, that just let it out. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch fireworks. I can cry.
Yeah, and especially his Ravager buddy getting all like, yeah, and then doing the Ravager salute. All, Yeah, he's so cute, dude.
Right.
He's freaking
Right.
adorable. Yeah, and then at the very end of the movie, I like that they showed like all the Ravager captains like teaming up together. Like that's perfect opportunity for a Disney Plus TV show.
Agreed. That is definitely something that I think that they could. It just has a really good setup. Like, there can be dozens of superhero type people from whatever worlds you make up. Again, I love Star Wars. I don't know. That's exactly what they have, is a whole galaxy filled with amazing people.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so does the MCU. And we've lightly talked about it. And a show would be great to explore that more. I agree.
Well, it was a good movie. Good, not great.
Yeah, could have been better, but still, I'd say 3 stars. 3 stars, 2.75 at lowest.
Well,
But yeah, but
that
yeah.
was our movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Ends on a pretty good note. They, Gamora and Peter have some unspoken thing.
Which is kind of them admitting verbally
Yes,
that there is a
that
thing.
there is a thing. And then Drax tells Mantis that she's beautiful on the inside. I'm pretty sure that's where it ends, right?
There's probably gonna be an extra scene here or there.
No, that's it. Yeah, then they show the arrow, and then yeah.
Oh yeah, Yondu's arrow, right? The extra scene is setting up Adam Warlock.
Yes, the first extra. This one had the most extra scenes. The first one is setting up Adam Warlock. The second one is it's with Stan Lee again. His second cameo in this movie. Him trying to tell those other guys, and they end up just walking away from him. They don't want to hear his stories.
Very sadly.
Hey
like,
guys, I've got more stories to tell. Guys, gee.
all this on this asteroid and this nebula.
Yeah, but that was our movie. Next week, we're discussing Thor Ragnarok. This is, I think, from this point on, I'm like, I have nothing bad to say.
Yeah, right. Everyone loves this movie.
Yeah,
I am looking forward to watching it again with some fresh eyes.
very much. That one is dropped in 2017 as well, directed by Taika Waititi. It's our 17th movie in the Infinity Saga. I hope you come back to hear our take on that one. I have been Dan S, as in science.
And I'm Dan F, as in fictional.
And we hope you have a wonderful day.
Boop.